This is an Xbox, but is it an Xbox that's worth buying? Well, I've been using the new ASUS ROG Xbox Ally X, what a name by the way, for over a week now, and I have some strong feelings, and I think I'm ready to share them. Let's dive in, shall we? This new Xbox handheld is a collaboration between ASUS ROG and Xbox, taking the already popular ROG Ally X and giving it an Xbox makeover, both externally and internally. But before we go into the specifics, let's talk about price, shall we? The ROG Xbox Ally X is priced at £799.99, or in the US, it's $999.99, which is a lot, but it's actually pretty competitive for a premium gaming handheld. Now, before you all get in the comments, for context, that's the same MSRP as the ROG Ally X, and it's actually less than other high-end Windows 11 handhelds like the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus, which comes in at £899 or $1,049, and the soon-to-be-released Lenovo Legion Go 2, which has an MSRP of £899 or $1,099, which I think we can all agree is quite a lot of money. Okay, you waited long enough, let's dive into the specs. And spoiler alert, if you've got an ASUS ROG Ally X already, there's probably going to be a lot of the same here, but there are some key differences to listen out for. Just like the Ally X, the Xbox Ally X has a 7-inch 1080p 16:9 IPS display, featuring a 120Hz refresh rate, 500 nits of brightness, AMD FreeSync Premium, plus Corning Gorilla Glass Victus with an anti-reflective coating. And it's also got the same Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.4, and 80Wh battery, 1TB storage, 24GB of LPDDR5X memory, and even the same I/O ports with one USB 4 Type-C, one USB 3.2 Gen 2, a microSD card slot, a fingerprint sensor, and a 3.5mm audio combo jack. But here's where things get interesting, because internally, the Xbox handheld gets the brand new AMD AI Z2 Extreme processor. Now this thing is Zen 5, 8 cores, 16 threads, up to 5 GHz boots, along with the 16-core RDNA 3.5 graphics and an NPU capable of 50 TOPS for AI stuff. It also has a higher TDP at 35 watts in turbo mode when plugged in, versus the Ally X being 30 watts in the same situation. And as you may have noticed, there's quite a big difference visually too, the biggest of which are the Xbox controller style grips on the side, which, to be honest, in images and videos I saw before this product came out, looked a bit dodgy to me, but they're actually really nice. So much so that when I go to pick up the ROG Ally X, I think, what, these grips are actually pretty sweet, especially for long play sessions. For console players, it feels way more natural to use and hold than other handheld devices. I also love the small design detail of having Xbox and ROG written in very small writing plastered all over the front of the device. That's very, very cool. So even though the Xbox ROG Ally X weighs slightly more at 715 grams versus 678 grams, to be honest, I'd much rather hold the Xbox handheld for longer periods. It just feels much nicer in the hand, and especially for console players like me that are used to these controller style grips, it just feels way more natural. Then there are some smaller, less noticeable changes like the joysticks, for example, the D-pad and the Xbox A, B, X, Y buttons. They're just a little bit tighter and clunkier than they are in the Ally X. It feels like they've been revised and tightened up slightly, which is really nice to see. And then there's the big one, the brand new Xbox button, which leads me on to the console's UI, the new Xbox full screen experience. Now, compared to previous Windows 11 handhelds I've reviewed, the Xbox Ally X has been a breath of fresh air to use, and that has a lot to do with the Xbox focused UI and just how easy and trouble-free it is to use. When you boot up your device, you boot straight into this. This is the Xbox full screen experience, bypassing Windows entirely. Now, Xbox claims that they've worked hard to minimize background activity and defer non-essential Windows tasks while in this mode, meaning more system resources can be dedicated specifically to gameplay. And as long as you like Xbox, it's superb, it really is. It really does look and feel like you're using a handheld Xbox console. And once you've signed into your third-party launchers like Steam and EA Play, all your titles appear in one place in your Xbox library, which is just a really good user experience. Now pressing the new Xbox button, like so, opens the new Xbox overlay, allowing you to change settings on the fly, manage the windows you have open third-party launchers, access your Xbox friends and chats, monitor performance, and also open Xbox Game Bar. Now switching windows in this mode is also really easy and sort of sums up the user experience of using this UI. You just simply swipe up from the bottom, and if there's a game open that it shouldn't be, you simply press X to close it. Now swiping up is also where you go back into the Windows desktop experience as you would on any other Windows handheld, but honestly I don't know why you'd want to do that. The thing that has been holding Windows handhelds back from a performance and user experience point of view is just how unoptimized and jarring it feels when you try and do anything gaming or gaming handheld related. But finally, the Xbox full screen experience has fixed this problem for me. I've had zero issues when using this device for over a week, day and night. Games launch when you want them to. Cloud gaming works when you want it to. You don't have to go digging through submenus of submenus to change a small settings in Windows for one of your games to work. The Xbox ROG Ally X is a Windows handheld that forces Windows behind the curtain, and it's all the better for it. And for you Armoury Crate lovers out there, I know you're out there, the Armoury Crate button is still here. It just moved to the Xbox button up here, and it's in here. You can adjust the performance of the device as you see fit. Talking of performance, let's move on to that, shall we? To put the Xbox Ally X to the test, we downloaded all the latest update and drivers for it, put it in turbo mode, and put it up against the Ally X and the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus in a variety of games, comparing its native performance as well as upscaling performance. Now before we go into the charts, I know you want to see them sweet charts, but just to note, we only have MSI Claw 8 AI Plus benchmark data in 1920 by 1200 rather than the 1920 by 1080 resolution that features on the ROG devices, so bear that in mind when it comes to the performance results. Let's start off with Cyberpunk 2077. Low graphic settings, no upscaling, and the Xbox Ally X beats out both the ROG Ally X and the MSI Claw, having 10 more FPS in the max, but also averaging 7 more frames per second. Moving on again to F125, low graphics settings once again, and this is an absolute trouncing by the Xbox Ally X, achieving 92 frames on average. 36 minimum is lower than the ASUS ROG Ally X and the MSI Claw, but look at those maxes. 154 max FPS in this benchmark is very impressive. Moving on to Shadow of the Tomb Raider, high settings this time, no upscaling. It's another win for the Xbox Ally X, achieving a much higher average than both the MSI Claw and the ROG Ally X. Finally, in our native testing, we have the Black Myth Wukong benchmarking tool. Low settings. This benchmark is known for pushing devices to the limit. It's really hard to run. The Xbox Ally X only slightly, but it does win out on both the MSI Claw and the ROG Ally X, with this device being the only one to hit that 40 max FPS barrier. Now onto upscaling now, and this is Cyberpunk 2077, low graphic settings with AMD FSR on both the ROG devices and Intel Xe SS in performance on the MSI Claw 8, and it's another win for the Xbox Ally X with higher max, mins and average than both the other devices. Moving on to F125, low graphic settings once again, AMD FSR on both ROG devices and the Intel Xe SS performance on the MSI Claw, and it's another massive win for the Xbox Ally X with 110 average frames in this benchmark. Moving on to Shadow of the Tomb Raider, highest graphic settings this time, all three devices running Intel Xe SS in performance mode, and the MSI Claw does win out in this performance benchmark. What I would say is it's got an Intel CPU, so that might explain some of the differences there. But in Black Myth Wukong benchmarking tool, at low graphic settings with all three devices running Intel Xe SS upscaling once again, the Xbox Ally X does match the MSI Claw in average frames while holding higher mins and max than the MSI device. Performance wise then, the Xbox Ally X outperformed the Ally X and the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus in pretty much every gaming benchmark we threw at it. And although we haven't yet been able to test the Lenovo Legion Go 2, so we can't definitively say that it's the best performing Windows 11 handheld, it's definitely in the conversation. And that's pretty impressive for a device that comes out cheaper than those new premium devices. And look, performance wise isn't just about graphs, it's also about the everyday use, like boosting up games, load times, input delay. Everything just feels really well optimized, and that's not something I've been able to say about any Windows handheld before. Battery wise, the Xbox has also been able to eke out that extra bit of battery performance. Running the F125 looped benchmark on low graphic settings with both devices in performance mode, the Xbox Ally X lasted 8 minutes longer on a single charge, managing 3 hours and 3 minutes, while the ROG Ally X lasted 2 hours and 55 minutes, which although isn't a massive improvement, is still a feat considering they have the same battery and the Ally X was already known for having very strong battery life. So there you have it, the performance speaks for itself. The ASUS ROG Ally Xbox isn't just a fresh coat of paint or a little redesign, it's actually a significant leap forward in terms of power, comfort, and more importantly, user experience. Now look, the price of this handheld means it's probably not going to be a product for the masses, let's all be honest about that. But this product has been marketed heavily as the Xbox handheld. And the fact that this is an Xbox, and honestly, it absolutely delivers on this, offering an intuitive and welcoming user experience that any console player could pick up and use, while also having the functionality of a full PC, which is something that you advanced users want as well. It has all the power and efficiency that some of the premium devices have and more, while also being easy to use and I'm to struggle with Windows. I mean, just look at what Xbox has done with the Steam verified like handheld optimized games label. It is absolutely the right thing to do for the user, and it tells you which games work as expected with no setting changes. That's just a really nice touch, and it just shows how Xbox has thought about players who may not have had a gaming handheld before. Okay, now we've gone over everything, let's go back to the question I asked at the very beginning of this video. Is this an Xbox that's worth buying? For me, if you're looking for a new gaming handheld, the answer is a resounding yes, and the reason isn't just the impressive performance or the battery life, it's not even about these super comfortable new grips, although I do love them. The real magic here is the Xbox full screen experience. For the first time, we have a Windows handheld that doesn't feel like you're constantly fighting with Windows. It feels like a dedicated handheld console. It's fast, it's intuitive, and it puts your games front and center right where they should be. ASUS and Xbox have finally hidden Windows behind the curtain, and it is all the better for it. And yes, I know that this UI will be available for more handheld devices in 2026, but right now, this is the only device, as well as its baby brother, that can run it natively without messing around in the registry editor, and I have to review it against products as they are now. I give the Xbox ROG Ally X a 5 out of 5 here on All Out Gaming. This honestly feels like the blueprint for all Windows handhelds moving forward, but what do you guys think? Is this new dedicated UI enough to make you jump in, or are you sticking with your Steam Deck, or are you waiting for the Lenovo Legion Go 2 for example? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed this review, a like on the video is always hugely appreciated, honestly, and if you want to see more content on the latest gaming tech, make sure you're subscribed to the All Out Gaming channel so you don't miss out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.